Hi, good morning, everyone who is tuning in, joining us, whether you're on East Coast or if you're joining us on the West Coast bright and early right now. Welcome to the fourth and final episode of our LinkedIn Live series, STEM Society Voices Preview, the ACCESSE Leadership Conference. This is my fourth time doing this, and I'm realizing that's a little bit of a mouthful, but the conversations have been awesome so far. So if you're joining us here for the first time, welcome. Or if you've been tuning in every week, just also much appreciation to you for tuning in, engaging with us, learning a little bit about CESSE, about our July conference, and yeah, super excited for today's conversation. We'll be wrapping up our series and exploring our fourth central theme, AI and innovative technology, with our today's guests. Before I go on any further, wanting to give at the top of the half hour today. Good morning, Greg. That's my colleague right there at CESSE. At the top of the half hour, wanting to give a quick reminder that today is the early bird deadline for the ACCESSE Leadership Conference. So if you want to attend, or if you're on the fence, hopefully this conversation will give you that little extra push into wanting to register or encourage your team members to register. But today is that deadline to secure that early bird pricing. So if you're thinking about it, definitely would love for you to take advantage of that savings, and also just the other kinds of ways that I know we have on the website that you can save for CESSE members if you register in groups of 5 or more, so on and so forth. But as always, if any questions come up, just feel free to use the chat function, and we'll get to as many of those as we can at the end of our discussion. What else in terms of housekeeping? Wanting to give for anyone that is new, wanting to give a little overview of what CESSE is, and then I'll pass it on over to our guest. But for anyone that is new to what CESSE is, or what is CESSE, CESSE is the Council of Engineering and Scientific Executives, which incorporated in 1977 and is the professional home for hundreds of STEM Society and Association professional staff members, including executives and C-suite leaders who value the trusted network and experience of their peers. We offer members a platform for exchanging information about their experiences and a venue for addressing the issues, challenges, and opportunities they face in operating their organizations. Now, of course, today we're going to talk about ACCESSE, but before going into that, wanting to give a welcome to our today's guest, Dana Otillio. Dana, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing pretty good. This is the earliest we've done them, but with these episodes, but it's a good day today. Yeah, can't complain. Dana, could you give us a little bit about background about what it is that you do in the STEM Society landscape?
Yeah, so I am Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the Society of Petroleum Engineers. I've been with the organization 19 years now. Started as a marketing specialist back in 2005 and worked my way up within the organization. But I do have a background in nonprofit. I've worked for a chamber of commerce. I've worked for a government entity. So I always kept coming back to the nonprofit space, and specifically scientific, I think, has been the thrill of a lifetime. Being able to work with engineers, especially for someone like myself that never thought I was good in math and science. It's been inspiring to learn about these industries more. So yeah, so I'm happy to be here today, and happy to talk a little bit about CESSE and the conference.
Yeah, I may be a little bit biased, but also excited about today's conversation as well, because to also speak to someone who's in marketing definitely could be, I'm a little bit biased there, but really excited, and thank you again for joining.
We're pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of requests, a lot of asks.
That's right. That's right. Getting things done. That's our MO.
Well, I have this question for you, Dana. Just at the top, wanting to ask you, how did you get involved with CESSE? How long have you been involved with CESSE? How's that experience been?
Yeah, so I mean, I had been involved in other organizations and some, specific to marketing, PR. But last year, when I was promoted to vice president of marketing and communications, the publishing units came over to my area. And while I thought that I knew at least a little bit about the publishing world, having served them from a marketing perspective through the years, I definitely realized how little I knew. And so it was actually my former colleague, Rebecca Staccia, who's now leading over at SAMPE. She was the one that was like, you've got to get involved in CESSE. She was a big proponent of me getting involved. So last year I joined CESSE. I went to ACCESSE for the first time in Detroit. And I immediately felt like this is where I belong, and definitely felt that I was talking to people that understood exactly what I was going through, what some of my challenges were. And so being able to speak directly to those that, have been there, done that, or facing some of the same challenges was very refreshing to me.
Yeah, a lot of that definitely reminds me of that blog you also shared with us that is also available on the CESSE website. If anyone hasn't had a chance to read it, check it out. Dana also speaks a little bit more about her experience at ACCESSE. And again, also appreciate you for sharing that story and just the community that I haven't been to ACCESSE, but just the community that I hear is there for people that are in this work is definitely, like, I think, inspiring, and think I would want to attend if I was in a STEM society, or I guess I kind of am, but in a different way.
You're supporting those who support those
in
STEM. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So already getting a little bit ahead of myself, but again, I like to make sure that people who are new to our work are also familiar. But if you're new to ACCESSE, you might be new to ACCESSE as well. Like, we've already been using that term a lot already. So what is ACCESSE? This year it's our leadership conference that'll be in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, from July 23rd to 25th. And what ACCESSE is, I'll just give you the quick blurb right here. It's a unique conference that combines leadership development, peer-to-peer connections, and content expertise in managing STEM societies. As a trusted space for STEM society professionals, the event provides fresh perspectives and innovative ideas intended to develop leadership and management skills to achieve their respective organizations' objectives. So Dana, you've already said that you attended last year in Detroit. Can I ask you, like, what are some things that you're looking for this year, without getting into the theme, but just at a high level, what are some things you're looking forward to this July?
Yeah, I mean, the sessions are always great and relevant. I've heard from past years that there was a lot of effort to really make it, a multidisciplinary event. So, having more marketing content, for example, more events, more legal and HR. So, it's really good to be able to see that variety at the conference. And equally so outside of the sessions, I think, again, being able to talk to people who are facing similar challenges, or, are similar size, international, STEM-based associations. I think that has been the other part that I certainly enjoyed last year, and I'm looking forward. I have my list now of people, that I want to talk to, and, people that I want to find out, like, who's doing what in various spaces. So I'm coming prepared this year to learn from as many people as I can.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And as I was hearing you talk, I think one aspect of that I don't think we've talked that much, or we might have talked about in a prior episode, but with those connections of people that are also fellow STEM society professionals, I think also the connections that you make with partners or other companies that whose services that STEM society professionals utilize to do these things of marketing, conferences, etc. So also the opportunity to meet face to face with, I don't know how you could visit our website to see who our partners are, but definitely that's a great opportunity as well to make those connections as well and build community with them. What is the next thing? Oh, and I think we're just moving right along to our themes for this year. So I'm not sure what the I guess themes were last year, but I know this year we have 4 central themes, which is how these episodes have been broken up. With the first one, our episode focused on leadership with Matt and Joanna, the program committee co-chairs. After that, we spoke about diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility with Dana Compton. And then after that, we spoke about sustainability with Eric Hankin and Julie Fortenberry. And today we're going to talk about briefly about AI and innovative technology, which is our 4th and final central theme. So just toss it back to you, Dana. Why is the theme of AI and innovative technology something that's being focused on at ACCESSE this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as a whole, technology can solve problems, but technology can also create problems. So I think that it's important for associations to kind of figure out for themselves how to leverage technology in the best way possible, in the most strategic way possible. And whether the goal is to create efficiencies for your staff, maybe you're a small staff and you need these tools to be able to help you do your job, or if it's to, improve customer service or the services that your organization provides, or if it's to generate new sources of revenue. And so I definitely feel that is incorporated, that those concepts, those ideas are incorporated in this year's technical program, kind of covering technology from a variety of angles. Of course, the one that I'm in particular really interested on is AI and large language models. This is something, just in full transparency, before ChatGPT came around, I didn't know hardly anything about this. I certainly would not call myself, some like AI expert. I'm not a data scientist. However, it is an area that I was very fascinated with early on. And as I mentioned earlier, Rebecca Staccio was a colleague of mine. I kind of found others within the organization that were also concerned and also intrigued by how this was going to change, the outlook for associations and the publishing world in particular.
Yeah, I'm one of those people as well that once ChatGPT came, it just became a big part of my daily work. Or it's a helpful tool, but it's so much more than that, as you said. And yeah, I wrote down what you said. It can solve problems and it can create problems, and definitely agree with that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Can I ask you, what are some of the sessions that are in the works as it pertains to this theme of AI, innovative technology? I know you're working on one or a couple of them, and just maybe giving an overview of those sessions for today's guests.
Yeah. So I'm not involved with these other 2 sessions, but I was checking them out before we did this live broadcast. So there's a marketing session that looks really interesting to me with Mighty Citizen, looking at how you can leverage data technologies to help meet your marketing goals. And to be able to, better track ROI and kind of focusing on, what are some of those common mistakes that a marketer might make and how to avoid them, and leveraging technology, to do marketers' jobs or help do marketers' jobs. So I think that that's a really interesting one. There's another one that's focused on events. That is really focused on how to leverage technology to create year-round engagement, to create a new revenue stream. That's certainly something for me at SPE that when the pandemic hit, like a lot of other organizations, we were scrambling to figure out, how do we create more multimedia content? And so I'm excited to hear more in that session of what they've done. And then my session that I'm involved with, that of course I'm super biased and super excited about, is about using large language models in publishing. How to protect yourself as an organization, how to navigate the ethical and quality concerns that are out there, but also to potentially monetize it. And how do we monetize it in a way that doesn't cannibalize other products that the organization offers, especially in the publishing space? So I have what I feel is an all-star panel. I've got Dana Compton, shout out to my fellow Dana over at ASCE. I've got Rebecca Stacha, my other partner in crime. I've got Jeremy Little with Silverchair, really smart guy, technology lead over at Silverchair. And we have Derek Schaefer with ModOp, who has done so much stuff in the legal and ethical space. So we're going to do a traditional Q&A style session. And we're going to have breakout table discussions afterwards, because again, I don't think anyone is an expert in this area. Certainly some people know more than others. And so we're going to leverage, all these different perspectives and experience to try to, help associations navigate this, whether they're going from what is ChatGPT, or if they're all the way to the how do I license this? That is what we're hoping to have associations that attend this session walk away with, is some new tools to help them navigate this and make good business decisions for their organization.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome session, and I'm sure that I can't remember how long the session is. I think they're like an hour 15, but I'm sure that you're gonna come up to the end and still feel like you're just scratching the surface with this topic, right?
Yeah, and I think we're right before lunch, so my hope is everybody will be like, "Hey, let's go to lunch. Let's talk more about this," because I know it is, equal parts exciting and scary to association leaders. And, there's a lot of stuff you can look up online. That's not what we're trying to, replicate in this session. But what we are trying to do is, have more of a conversation around what should associations be doing right now. No matter, at what point are you, whether you're just thinking about some of this stuff or actually planning on doing it. No matter where you are in that cycle, we want to help give you some new things to think about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and this next question might repeat some of what you just shared, but just if anything comes up, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Dana. But what are some questions that an ACCESSE attendee might expect to explore with their peers as it relates to this theme? You've already shared some from your session and just overall at the conference, but anything else come up where you're like, oh, how does this? Or I mean, you mentioned like one straightforward one was, how do we create more multimedia content, or even like on a strategic level, how does this, benefit or drive revenue? But any other kind of questions that come up for you that, an ACCESSE attendee might expect to explore with this?
Yeah, I mean, so speaking a little bit broader about like multimedia content, for example, I think that the pandemic helped a lot of organizations realize how much of their content was serving a very specific audience, a very narrow, in some cases, audience. And how can we leverage, again, technology, but also different mediums to be able to get our content out more to the masses, more explorable, more, engaged in virtual ways. So I think that that's another one of those kind of trends that I see reflected in some of the sessions at ACCESSE, where there is kind of that discussion of like, what have we learned? How have we changed during the pandemic? And how these strategies, how are we moving forward? It's equally nice. Just one other thing to maybe make some people laugh, hopefully laugh, is, I always feel like with associations, generating revenue was kind of a dirty word, and so the other thing that I've been kind of glad to see is that, even for associations, while yes, of course, we're mission focused, of course, we're here to serve our members, at the end of the day, we're also still a business, and need to generate revenue and need to financially support all the things that we provide to our membership. And so that's another thing that I kind of see reflected in some of the sessions. And so I'm glad to see it.
Yeah. And hearing that also reminds me that like of these four central themes, like they don't exist like separate of each other. There's a lot of overlap. Like hearing you say that about revenue to just money, it makes me think about sustainability and financial sustainability for organizations and the AI, the innovative technology implications for that. Just there's so many different ways that you can go. So yeah, I think it's just a reminder to me and hopefully a reminder to everyone who's joining us or tuning in, that wherever you are in this space, there's definitely like a route or an avenue for you to do a lot of learning and with others about these things that are happening today and so quickly as well, right?
Absolutely.
This next part that I have for us, Dana, is so you've already spoke about what you're looking forward to, spoke about the theme. These sessions is about AI. And before we get into any questions, if there's any from the audience, wanting to ask you if you could share one specific or tangible way that attending ACCESSE last year has benefited either your leadership or maybe even the collective leadership of your organization, because I know sometimes the impact can be more than the individual, but what kind of comes up for you when you hear that question?
Yeah, I mean, SPE is fortunate that we have some sister societies, others kind of serving the oil and gas industry that I have good relationships with and that I can reach out to. The one challenge is that sometimes we're in the same step or in the same point of whatever challenges we're facing. So if I'm wanting to try to find people who are maybe a little further along, from where SPE is on a particular topic, that has sometimes been a challenge for me to find. And so I feel so fortunate to have met some people in great organizations at ACCESSE last year that absolutely I was able to call on after the event and kind of say like, okay, what are you guys doing about LLMs? Are you creating any policies? Are you creating this? Are you creating that? Are you licensing? Being able to hear some different viewpoints on this from those in other STEM-based industries was incredibly helpful. And so I definitely feel that it saved me a tremendous amount of time getting up to speed on what we as an organization should do. And it may not look exactly like what another organization is doing, but that's not really the point, right? The point is just to get a variety of perspectives to try to figure out, okay, what's going to be right for our members and for our business model. But having those perspectives was golden. I mean, it just, I can't even say enough good things about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agree with that. And thank you so much for sharing that. So that this is the part of the episode where I open it up to any sort of comments, questions that folks might have. And this is related to, this is a big part of ACCESSE as well, but I haven't mentioned this in a prior episode, but I think I would do it a disservice if I didn't bring it up. But as part of ACCESSE, there's just the learning is the big piece of it, I think is what we're getting out of these episodes. And there's also other opportunities to connect informally or just socially with people that are attending, attendees, partners, etc. And another one of those programs that we're really excited to highlight, and I'd like to give a little 5 seconds to as well, as my colleague shared right here, Alicia, who's our education manager, been doing a great job, that there's an opportunity to join us on the ACCESSE24 stage with an Ignite session. So if you don't know what Ignite is, would definitely encourage you to visit our website, CESSE.org. But to give it a quick blurb, it's basically, how would I describe it? It's you get 5 minutes to and 20 slides, and they automatically scroll every 30 seconds. I might be fumbling the timing, but I think you get the point where it just automatically goes, and it's rapid fire lightning round type presentations on really any sort of topic that you want to speak on. And it's at the end of the ACCESSE. So I think after this, there's all this energy and excitement over what people have been learning or discussing, to wrap it all up with these fun presentations. Or I don't even know if I would like label them as presentations, but storytelling, however you want to look at it. But I think that's also a great opportunity. So if you're interested, we have a call for proposals for that opportunity. If you would like to be a part of that, you could just visit our website, CESSE.org. And I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat, so I have a couple more wrap-up questions for us, Dana, but I think you've already answered this first one in many ways, and I think it's just awesome just to always shout people out, give people their flowers, but you're already going to know which question I'm talking about. But with ACCESSE, there's a lot of connection building with people. And in this question, I wanted to ask you, who is one or however many names you want to shout out, bring to this space that have had an impact on your leadership that you've met either at ACCESSE or maybe just the broader CESSE community? Who are some of those folks?
Yeah. So I mentioned Dana Compton, and I was so tickled that she had mentioned me on the last session, because I feel like we're both fangirling over each other, so that's great. Rebecca Stacha, I mean, I wouldn't even be involved in CESSE had it not been for her pushing me to do so. And yeah, I mean, Tony, I've met a lot of people over the past year and kept up with some of these people. I was involved in a session last year as well, and so some of the people I met from that session, it was great. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone with the program committee. There's so many of them that I haven't had a chance to meet in person. And I'm excited to meet you and Alicia and others on the CESSE team.
Yeah, I love that. And for our last question before any concluding words that we might have to get those folks who are still on the fence or just still thinking about attending, is just what's one word, or every time I ask this, I feel like people always go on with more than one word, so it's okay to do that as well. But what's one word about how you're feeling that would describe how you're feeling about this July's ACCESSE Leadership Conference?
I would say, I feel the word excited is probably a little cliche. So I'm going to say hopeful. Mm-hmm. How's that? Hopeful.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Especially with a lot of things that are happening in our world right now, and just the opportunity of this conference lens, I think hopeful is a great one. But yeah, it looks like that is it for our comments and what I have on my screen. So I think I'll wrap up by saying, again, if you're interested, I think I'll just plainly say you might be missing out if you don't join us this July. Would definitely encourage you to check it out, attend, or follow up with one of us. I'm sure like I'm open, or our team is open. Anyone on the program committee is open to answering any questions that you might have about the conference as to what you might gain out of it. Quick reminder as well that the early bird deadline is today. So if you want to save a little bit of money on your registration, there's other ways that you can do that, but today is the last day for the early bird deadline. So definitely don't want anyone to miss out on that. Dana, I'm assuming you're registered already?
I'm registered. I got everything done. That's who I am. Just getting things done. So yeah, everybody, you need to register today. Save money.
Yeah, my colleague Greg also saying, yeah, and it's tonight.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, don't miss out. Not your last opportunity, but I feel like I'm one of those people that if I'm thinking about it, but it's past like for 5Ks, I know that those always have different rounds. And when I'm thinking about it, and then I end up paying like 20 more bucks, and I'm like, wow, I could have saved that. But that's enough of that. Any last concluding words, Dana, before we wrap it up?
Nah, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at ACCESSE, and even if you don't know me, I'd love for you to come up to me at the conference and say hello and get to know you. So yeah, looking forward to meeting everyone.
Awesome. I'm on that boat as well. And thank you, Dana. Thank you, everyone who was able to join us today. And if you're watching the replay of this, thank you for watching the replay of this. And hope to see many, if not all of you, in Toronto this July. But bye, everyone.